Press 1 if you can hear me. So I'll start off from the top. So basically, I was in the Code Breakers. I was in the Code Breakers video, and they were doing an update on some of the stuff Trump had said. I didn't hear a word from Paradox or DC. It sounded like it was probably Paradox that was running the channel. So this is not to them. But I was in the chat. I was in the chat for a hot second, and two people were going back and forth. You know who you are, and one of them said that you voted for this fool. And then somebody said our president shouldn't be disrespected. The other person said that better people have been disrespected than Trump, which I don't necessarily disagree with that. So I basically made a comment though saying that Trump, it was still the better choice than Kamala. And then somebody wanted to make a slick ass comment saying I full well expect for you to say that. So that's where we're at. And this wasn't DC or Paradox, what it is. So my thing is, so that's the premise of it. The other part of it is, so I started here. I voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. When I vote for somebody, I vote for who I think is going to be the best president. I focus on who I think is going to do more for black people, but I also focus on who's going to be the best president first. And at the time, Hillary was, in my opinion, more qualified than what Trump was. And I said, and then that kind of was borne out, right? But this wasn't Trump versus Biden. This was Trump versus Kamala. Kamala is not qualified to be attorney general. Kamala is not qualified to be vice president. And she's fucking not qualified to be president. She's not qualified to be governor of California. Just so we're fucking clear. And anybody that thinks that Kamala was a better choice than Trump, a 4-year Trump that did 4 years already, is a fucking idiot. Now, we can talk about what you want to happen, but I'm talking about who's actually qualified. Kamala's not qualified. She's not. And I'm not going to get all hella disrespectful. I'm not going to be petty. I'm going to be dead ass serious. She's not. Kamala would not have been, you wouldn't have knew who the fuck was running the White House if Kamala would have been in there. She was pretty much a top of a committee. That's what that was, and that's what they were doing. And so this idea, and real talk, I was going to vote for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. endorsed Trump. Now, that doesn't in and of itself mean I was going to vote for Trump. But given a lot of stuff, what the Democrats put Trump through actually convinced me. Because if he can get through that, then he convinced me that he could probably do it on top of, I thought it was a pretty good chance, and I was right, that Robert F. Kennedy would be in the cabinet. Another thing, too, is a lot of the arguments that we were having back and forth, whether it's BGS or whoever, was really not necessarily who should win, it was who was going to win. That's where so that's not always the same thing. Even though to most people, that's a distinction without a difference. And people were wrong. They thought Kamala was going to win, and they were dead ass fuck. Not only were they were wrong about what was going to happen, why it was going to happen, how it was going to happen. I remember when I went on the Code Breakers and I said it was going to be very close to a Reagan-esque victory. It wasn't exactly a Reagan-esque victory. It wasn't, but it was like I said, very close. I went on there and I declared that shit. I am not an expert. I don't claim to be. I'm just a nigga with an opinion that happens to be a thinker. And the reality of the fucking situation is I was fucking right. And I said this way before, I said this early, like right before, either right after or right before the fucking convention. So I know a little bit of what I'm talking about, enough that what I've observed completely outside of like BGS. And at the end of the day, you got motherfuckers that don't like Trump. I don't give a fuck about what you don't like. The reality is, I'm gonna tell you like I told everybody else that always gets fucking bleeds over Trump. Trump won because of the fucking Democrats. That's why Trump won. Trump won because the Democrats failed to procure a worthy candidate. And if y'all don't shut the fuck up crying over Trump, and when I say y'all, I'm talking particularly this person in the chat, like I said, I ain't none of these things said. I want to be clear on that. Then you're gonna have fucking JD Vance in there and have 12 years. So you got people in there basically crying, like talking about a fool and all this other shit. At the end of the day, there's two choices. We had two choices to choose from. Trump was the better choice. Am I saying Trump is the most qualified person to be president? Hell no. But these are the choices that were presented. And the Democrats are a big part of why that is. Biden said he was going to run for 4 fucking years. Look, BG, I get the geopolitical thing BJ is talking about. I don't give a damn about that. The reality is Biden lied in the gate. Biden lied and he picked somebody that wasn't qualified. My bad. I voted for RFK Jr. and then moves that Trump are making me feel more justified, but Kamala would have held this. Exactly. And so I get tired. I mean, y'all the fucking reason. I'm gonna keep it all the way real. Y'all are a big fucking reason why like if you don't hold, people say, well, you're supposed to vote Republican. No. What you should do is primary the Democrats. The Democrats need to go through a Tea Party situation. The Democrats need to be burnt the fuck down and rebuilt because the Democratic Party is captured. They're captured by, special interests, and I mean special interests more than normal. And the reality is there's a real conversation to be had with that. But what pisses me, anybody saying Wes Moore, the governor of Maryland, would be okay, you're a fucking idiot. All the Republicans have to do is run that motherfucker and say he's not FBA and he's against reparations and he's dead on fucking arrival. Like straight up. So the Dems don't really have nobody but Gavin Newsom. That's a fucking problem. Yeah, good luck on Shapiro. Because we already know being small had, nah. Good luck on Shapiro. In this climate where there's a lot of folks that think Israel gets away with whatever, you can call that anti what the fuck you want. So good luck with Shapiro. So that's 1, 2. They Me Too Cuomo and fuck Cuomo up. That's 3. 3 governors. Shapiro is more like the situation. Cuomo, they fucked Cuomo. Tulsi Gabbard, well, they fucked her too, which is why she left. I mean, for real. This is what the Dems are doing. And so my point is, when people say stupid shit and say, yeah, I would expect you to say that. Yeah, because that's a smart play. Smart. Like, y'all really feel like it's gonna be amazing because they don't have all of this they can say about JD Vance. Trump has a lot of baggage because of who Trump is. You don't have that with JD Vance. So it's not easy to be like, I look at Trump, I look at what he says. JD Vance doesn't have none of that. None of it. So it's gonna be interesting to see what bullshit people try to pull up. And I say this as a registered Democrat. What I personally want is the Democrats to actually do right by African Americans. And as far as I'm concerned, any motherfucker that doesn't understand that that's a clear and present problem, especially that claims to be a Democrat, that is a fucking problem. And it's not just African Americans. They're fucking everybody over there generally votes for Democrat except the bitches. So, I mean, can people have a conversation without Trump? Because eventually Trump is not going to be somebody y'all can just blame for everything. Trump already won. And it's not black people. Black men are not the reason Trump won. Trump won because every other race but black people voted for Trump. But everybody tends to have smoke for everybody else except for every black man, but not everybody else. I don't understand that. I really don't. It's a lot the Democrats can do to get support. It's a lot they can do. See, I'm a very pragmatic guy when it comes to this. I'm not driven by ideology. That's the problem. A lot of folks be talking based on ideology and not based on pragmatism of what's going on, what needs to happen. No, that's one issue about being a two-party country is they always can come back because they're the alternative choice. They'll probably gain some seats because people will be like, this is what I vote for, blah, blah, blah. So at the end of the day, I just wanted to point that out. Like I said, anybody telling me Kamala would have been a better choice, you're dumb. And I dare somebody to tell me where I'm wrong in that. What that means is they really don't have to be qualified. You just got to like somebody. Anyway, I'm out. Just want to say that.